here in Atlanta, Georgia, and maybe nobody has been hit harder with this portal opening than the Oregon Ducks. It's been reported that Oregon has lost maybe 12 different players to the portal, meaning they can't play in this matchup. The biggest loss right now might just be Oregon running back Jaden Lamar. Lamar was expected to see a big increase in carries this week, with other running back Jordan Davison breaking his clavicle. However, Lamar is out of commission. He entered the portal just 3 days ago. Oregon still has Noah Whittington and De'Air Hill Jr., but this team loves two running back packages. They run the third most in the country, and they can't really do that tonight. It's going to take a lot of stress off of the linebackers of Indiana. We'll see what effect that has. So far, this Oregon offense seems to have responded well from that early pick six. Guys? All right, thanks, guys. D'Angelo Pons coming off of one of his best performances of the season at the Rose Bowl. He won Defensive Player of the Game, and hey, he picked up right where he left off, getting a pick six on the first play from scrimmage here against Oregon. Now, not only did he lock up the likes of Germany Bernard and Ryan Williams in that game against Alabama, but he forced a fumble, delivered some pretty hard hits like we haven't seen from him all season. When I spoke to defensive coordinator Brian Haynes, he said that Pons just has this competitive spirit that you can't teach. He told me that in Pons' true freshman season at James Madison, they too were watching film on the opposing team before Pons' third college game. Haynes said that he was sitting with Pons, looked at him as he played an example of the opposing team's bubble screen, and said, "Off with his head, huh, D'Lo?" Pons smiled slowly and said, "Yeah, off with his head." Back to you guys. Guys, after Indiana came up with that third takeaway of the game, the entire defense came rushing to the benches. They were all pumped up. Everybody else that was on the sideline, meaning everyone but the offense who had to go back onto the field, was pumping up that defense for coming up with that takeaway. Even Quinn Warren, the kickoff specialist, was really, really loud and animate about how well they are doing. But guys, just a moment later, linebacker Aiden Fisher, the captain of this Indiana defense and this Indiana team, came up to those guys on the bench and immediately told them to lock back in. They said, "You've enjoyed it enough. Now it's time to get ready to come back in," maybe even in this quarter, but definitely in that second half with the same intensity. Guys, they want 6 turnovers. They want to push this to the limit and see how many they can come up with by the time this 60 minutes is over. Up to you. Guys, Mikhail Kamara went into the halftime break limping. He came back out, still not able to put a lot of pressure on his left leg, but he did all the warm-ups. He's in full pads, got his helmet on. He's going through it all, and he's going to be a big piece, not just in this second half, but in the potential next game. Oregon only totaled 121 total yards in that first half. That's 57 more than the Ducks pieced together in the second half in Eugene. And Indiana might be looking to Daniel Ndukwe. He was the one that forced that last fumble in the end of the first half. He's a true sophomore. That was the first time this season he's gotten to the quarterback and the first time he's forced a fumble. Back up to you. Guys, Charlie Becker went into the injury tent after that last Indiana drive that ended in a touchdown. I've been watching him move up and down the sideline here of Indiana, stopping and starting as hard as he can, trying to work what appears to be a lower ankle issue. He's been cutting and moving pretty confidently, pretty well. I would not be surprised in the slightest if he's back on the field in this drive. But guys, if he's not, there's guys like E.J. Williams Jr. who can step right up and take that spot that Charlie Becker has earned as this season has progressed. All right, thanks so much, guys. With this one well in the hands of Indiana, it's time for the Hoosiers on their flight back to Bloomington to start thinking about the Miami Hurricanes. The Canes punched their ticket to the national championship yesterday in the Verbo Fiesta Bowl, taking down Ole Miss 31-27. But guys, that game was all offense. Miami over 450 total yards. Ole Miss was 2 yards away from cresting that 400 number as well. And the Hurricanes got most of that on the ground. 51 rushing attempts from Miami in that game. If Indiana can do anything like it has done early in this playoff push already, which is shut down opponents' run game, Miami's going to have to lean to senior quarterback Carson Beck and what he can do, because running the ball against this Hoosiers team is just not going to cut it. Guys, last 2 minutes, back up to you.